let's do introductions, there's new
Well,
folks.
that's-
No, you gotta go by
You
the,
gotta go by the agenda.
Oh, got it.
Four down. We're all alike.
I know, you gotta hurt them. Keep on going.
Approval of the agenda, today's agenda. Anybody have any objections?
I so move.
Second.
All in favor? Approval of the minutes for the December 10th, 2025 meetings. Everybody had a chance to look over these minutes? I'm sure you have. And approval for that?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Good. Now we're getting into introductions. We'll start right here with you, Ford.
Ford Barlow, District 7, thank you.
I'm Chris Campbell, I'm District 1.
I'm Pam Floyd, District 3. Brenda McPhee, District 8.
Will A. Church, I'm a volunteer, living in the city of Beaufort.
Good for you.
Thank you, welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Kelly Holtec, Litter Control, Beaufort County.
Sergeant Matthew, Beaufort County Sheriff's Office.
Bradley Harris, Beaufort County Public Works Director.
Valentina, environmental educator for Public Works.
Joe Passman, Beaufort County Council, I represent District 5, and I'm the liaison to this committee.
Yes.
First meeting for Joe, so.
Yay.
I'm Gene Zeppel, I am representing District 7.
And I'm Sally McLeod, solid waste and recycling.
If you don't mind if I go back,
One more. Dr. Jean.
We're on introductions, Gene.
Hello.
traffic group,
I'm sorry?
traffic group. It's awful not to have.
Thank you.
Okay, if you'll introduce yourself, everybody, we've already done everybody else.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm Jean Frew. I live on Hilton Head Island, and I'm Executive Director of the Outside Foundation. And that's District 11.
Thank goodness.
And a long time member of this board.
Yeah, a long time ago. I should know that.
But I recycling, litter coordinator, is that which?
Litter Control Supervisor, so if you're familiar with Jesus,
Yes.
this role, I think
Okay.
you're familiar.
That's right.
Welcome aboard, young
Oh,
lady.
yes. Thank you.
You're very important to us in your position. If there's ever anything we can do to help you, you let us know. Okay? And I think you'll find everybody right there in your corner. Okay, moving forward. Subcommittee updates. Number one, beautification. You want to take over there? Okay, the beautification department is one, Beaufort County is going to plant all the bulbs for us out at the Gardens Corner. We're going to get 1,500 bulbs out there. It's going to be pretty.
This is mixed daffodils that are supposed to be appropriate for this area.
I'll take your word for it.
And he's
That's what
also,
I ordered, so.
and also they're Mr. Harriet's department has done some planning out there that really looks good. I'm telling you, I drive by it every day and they've done a wonderful job. And so hopefully from here, as years go by, we have a little thing now that can go around and do jobs that, not big jobs, but, improvements to any part of our districts that anybody would like to do. I think we've got, we're rolling along here, so anybody wants to come forward with an idea or anything like that in your district, please let us know. But we're gonna go down to the 170, 278 intersection next year and do a little bit of a plan there that we're working on.
And are we gonna say, we're gonna try, we've been wanting to plant the traffic circle, Fraser Circle, for several years. So they've agreed to plant for us, so we're gonna go ahead and order the plants for
Right,
that.
yes, we are.
And
Soon.
plants for out there, so we're gonna,
Soon.
Right.
Yes.
And the key to the county, and again, Mr. Harriet and his crew, is that when things kind of tightened up, we had to get 3 bids. There's no project out there you can do for $4,999, we found out. And so all of a sudden, we were, as volunteers, it was difficult for us to get that done. Gene will tell you, he's doing the signs and so it's a reward when you get it done, but it's difficult. But to have you help us, that's huge. So that, thank you very much. Okay.
So we've already funded and approved the acquisition of additional plants for whatever you guys want to do. There's a line in the budget, so you've got to move on it
Yeah.
because, you know, the money disappears. And,
So we have to have it spent by June first.
well, you can't do any more procurements after June 1st because Public Works procurement people basically stop us, which is good. It's the end of the fiscal year. So buy stuff as soon as you can. Don't wait.
We have a little landscape architect that's helping us now too, which is really good, and Leah. And anything you want in that department, it may be easier, you have your own, I think, but Leah's pretty good. I like her and she's fun to work with, but her guys can, and I know you can too, but they'll go out and buy the plants for us from there's a central plant place down there near the Georgia line on 17. Company that buys plants for whatever you need. If you need so many of these and so many of those, they get them out of Florida or they'll get them. She will get those for us and she adds a little on the price, but not very much. So,
Get the plants and we'll plant them.
okay, so if that's okay with you, that's how we
Y'all,
do
because
it.
y'all have the funding, so yeah, just,
Yeah.
usually if that's what y'all choose to do, but yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Buy the plants, we can help you get plants, all we get.
So we'll talk to Leah and let her order the plants for us.
I have a
Well,
question.
let's talk that through, the
Yeah.
mechanics of doing that.
Right,
Right, because we don't want to pass money through Leah.
not through her, but through
Right,
her
she can,
company.
well, let's talk about how do we do that.
Right, okay.
Because, I mean, Sally can actually buy things for us directly.
Oh, well, I mean, if that's easier, too,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to not add our love on to everybody's sort of time. But
Okay.
we can, the more we can act separately, I think, that'll be a lot.
Okay.
Any other question?
So we're planning for 2026 to finish in 2020, out of this year's budget, 278 at 170?
No,
No,
we
that's next year.
probably will plan for 278, 170 financial
Right.
this year.
So,
For 2026, 2027.
Yeah, that's when we'll get the job done.
Okay, so what I'm asking is, are you planning that project to come out of our current budget?
the 170, 278, no. It'll come out of next year's
Good,
budget.
okay,
And you'll see that as a line item in next year's budget.
okay.
That we will talk to today, and we'll agree to that budget so that it can be submitted in time for the county's budget process.
But we've still got money in the budget for this year.
We're spending.
And that's what he's talking, that's what we're talking about.
And if I may interject, there's also some planning for road improvements at the 170, 278 circle. That will be coming forward as part of the Transportation Advisory Committee to see if that becomes part of the referendum. So we will have to be careful about
Where we plan.
where we plan, because there may be construction going on.
We may even wanna, as that develops, we may even wanna push this forward a year.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if we,
Just to be on the
Thank
alert.
you.
yeah,
Anything else, Chris?
That's, can you think of
That's it.
anything else?
Yeah.
So I'll take the 278 sign update. Okay, that's the next bullet point.
Legislation?
Nope, Route 278, welcome sign update, under duplication.
Oh,
It's up here, the third bullet point.
yeah, go
It
ahead.
just isn't on here.
Yeah, it isn't on the agenda, it's on
It's
the
on that. Okay, got
committee
it.
reports. A week ago, Monday, we made the final presentation to the county council, and they decided, they picked the sign. Sign design, is there something you can show?
I
Not really?
don't have that. I
Okay.
don't know which sign they selected.
Yeah,
One
I'm just
thing.
gonna,
Oh,
blue and green, the emails.
okay.
yeah.
No, I don't.
I'll just put it on my screen here and just show you, I can't put it up on the screen up there though. So this one here, this was the choice. We have to make a couple changes to it, wording changes, et cetera. I'm meeting with Hannah after this meeting, going by her office, and we're gonna talk about what word changes have to happen. Once we do that, then the landscape architect, Jared, I guess, and then Bradley will figure out the package we need to submit to DOT for the encroachment permit.
Our engineering department will assist with that as well.
Okay, great, because this board can't submit an encroachment permit, it's gotta come from the county. That hopefully will happen in February, early March. We're told it's a 2-week term, as long as everything is okay, then great. Then in March, we'll acquire the sign. We already ran a procurement, we know who is the low bidder, and it's the bidder that gave us some good ideas as well. So then we turn the contractor on, he says he needs 2 weeks to build the sign, probably another couple of weeks to prep and everything else. So if it all goes well, we'll be installing the sign in April. It's on Route 278, right near USCB, as you come into the county. And it's a pretty substantial sign. It's about the size of that screen.
4x8.
Yeah, it's 6 by 4. And, you know, we still have to go through that state approval, but we've talked to the state SCDOT several times already. So we think we're all on track there. So anyway, the presentation last Monday went great. Council picked, it was 8-3 in favor of that particular design. Then we had a brief conversation about what about other entrance points into the county? And we talked about what those might be, and we've already laid out 4 more entrance points. My commitment was, we're gonna get the 278 signed done this fiscal year, period, we're gonna get it done. The other ones, depends on money, depends on timing, Joe and I were just talking about it a bit, so we'll figure out. And if we get to April, at our next board meeting 2 months from now, and we feel like we're gonna have money that will go unspent, we can buy the signs and then have them installed physically the next fiscal year. We can effectively spend the money. And what you'll see today in the budget, the finance section, is we will have spent about half our money, except you guys have now a new planting program, but we have committed about 21,000 of the 50,000 so far. So we might have money at the end of the year to buy some more signs. That would kind of like an outlet if we have extra money. All right, well, don't worry about putting them in this year, that's just a whole process to make that happen, but we can actually buy them this year. Okay?
And the only change we asked in the sign was perfect. We just wanted the words, "Welcome to Beaufort County." So that's what they're going to be working on, how to put that lettering in there.
Did they delete heritage by the sea?
No,
No,
So
no.
we might have to.
space-wise.
Yeah.
Well, and size-wise, character size, it's a big sign, you're driving fast,
Yeah.
so you don't want too small of characters. That's what we need to work through. And Hannah and I are gonna start that conversation today, and then DOT is gonna have an opinion, right? And so we'll see what that opinion is, but that's the basic plan. If we have to save space, remove Heritage by the Sea and expand, establish 1769 a bit, make it a little bigger, and then you're welcome to at the top. So I think we got a good plan of where we wanna go.
Conforms with the other entrance signs.
So we will have, yes, it does, today's signs. The plan, though, is to have the exact same design at every entrance point of consequence in the county. So 5 different entrance points in the county. Each sign may be a different size, because you don't put that size sign on a 2-lane road. So that, all the details we need to work through.
When is Heritage?
April,
Be nice to have that
April
on
10th.
Heritage.
11.
Probably Probably a long shot.
yeah, well, it's up to the county. I mean, it's up to the SDDOT, which is the long
15th.
pole in the town.
It would be,
The 12th through the
yeah,
18th,
It'd
19th.
be hard to do it.
13th through the 19th. April.
Well, thank you.
Okay, yep.
So we got next here.
Legislation.
It's up on the screen.
Legislation.
Legislation? You wanna talk about the plastic?
Sure. So, I know Brenda worked diligently on the last plastic bag ordinance, and then participated also in the future one. And then Pam and, Chris, myself, and Valentina, and several others have been meeting now for 8 months.
Bradley?
Bradley's at a couple of them. Alice, Howard has been at almost every one of them. Juliana Zadig from planning is kind of a orchestrator of this, but the new ordinance is drafted. It's been through legal. It's now been distributed to the other municipalities within the county. Juliana's taking comments back. Bluffton's comments were very light. She said, word change, we'll hear that, that was it. There's a presentation discussion with City of Beaufort coming up next week. That Silvers will go to, et cetera. At the last meeting, actually 2 meetings ago, we're meeting every other week, so it's pretty engaged. At the meeting, not last week, but 2 weeks before that, the team, including Port Royal Sound Foundation, where's Grant from?
Coastal Conservation.
Coastal Conservation,
Non-profit.
Juliana, her boss, Alice, they all said that they thought it might be good if Keep Beaufort County Beautiful was the organization that drove communications once the ordinance is passed. So informing businesses, informing the citizens, engaging, coming up with ways to how do we help businesses make this transition. We've talked about a startup kit, or can we buy, 5,000 clamshells that are paper boxes and share them with different small businesses, et cetera.
Can't
So
we do
it's,
clamshells, because we can't recycle clamshells.
we can't, plastic ones we can't recycle, but if it's paper.
Oh,
Could
okay,
be.
compostable.
So anyway, the details of that, we don't have an answer to that yet. We started to put together a plan, and we've got a pretty decent plan going. The reason I'm spending a little time on it is that it's a big part, potentially, of what we do next fiscal year. Like a really big part. Like we've got, it's a big job, and a fun job. I mean, I think it'll be great. It'll be really great. At a future meeting, I can brief folks on what that is kind of coming to look like. I think the presentation now is about 25 pages, and just thinking through, what are we doing, and how are we doing it, et cetera. But we're gonna, KBCB has the opportunity to take a leadership role in communicating the new ordinance, which I think is a wonderful thing for us to do.
Assuming it passes, how's it gonna be communicated in the first place?
So the official communications from the county come directly from the county. So it's passed as a,
Emails or what else?
it's passed, well, a couple things. First, I think you remember, we did a survey.
Yes.
We then have, 15,000 emails that the county has, we don't have. The county is gonna send a update where we stand. A county, I say, is Juliana is orchestrating it from planning. Then they're also gonna contact all the businesses within the county. Juliana is, the county is. Once it's passed by the county council, there's a process the county uses that I don't know, but you might know that when the ordinance is passed, here's how it gets communicated to the county.
Yeah, the ordinance is going to start in a committee. They will recommend it to full council. As an ordinance, which is a law, it'll have 3 readings and a public hearing. And then it becomes a law, and then we can communicate it to the world, once it goes through that process. So it's not gonna happen in March, for sure.
So our question is, once we go through this process and it is passed, assuming it's passed, how do you then notify the community? How does council let it be known that this is now?
I'm assuming that there will be a media, we use social media, that will be one avenue. It will be on our website as well, and we'll determine how best to get this information out.
It also will get published in newspapers, local newspapers, because it's kind of a process.
They're gonna know.
For every law.
Your local news medias will more likely pick up
Right.
on,
Pick up on
Right.
it.
pick up on it, and I'm sure they'll be.
Because this will be a big deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the schedule we came out with just 3 days ago was the Beaufort City working session is February 24th, so that's next 12 days from now. It gets presented to the NRC on April 6th. Then it gets, for the NRC then hopefully votes and approves it. The first reading is April 27th, the second reading is May 11th, and the final reading is May 26th. So this is Juliana and the team planning. This is not a writ from above. We hope this is the schedule. If it follows that schedule, May 26th, we, keep Beaufort County Beautiful, take the ball for communications after that official notification in the newspapers, et cetera. We don't do that, the county will do that. But from then on, we will be the ones responsible to engage with the citizens and the business. That'll be our job. And it's a big job.
Can we use the town's media management systems? In other words, they're gonna announce it across some channels. Can we actually kind of integrate with that when we take the ball?
I think so,
Okay.
but that is
You'll
part of
have
the planning that we have to work through.
Yeah, okay.
You'll have
Anything that's
to.
publicly has to go through Hannah and her
Yes,
group.
yes,
So anything that has to be publicly,
Yes.
disseminated needs to go. So anything you have to share, we'll be more than, county will be more than, we're happy to share that,
Okay.
however y'all, would like to share.
but it'll be multiple communications to the citizens, multiple communications to businesses, and then we as individuals are gonna have to go help talk to businesses. I mean, that's part of what we are gonna take on as a responsibility. But it'll be fun. I mean, I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be a great
I
time.
think it's gonna be great.
We put a bunch of money in the plan for next year to provide money for advertising, if we choose to do that. Money for sample startup kits, if we choose to do that. These are all ideas. We as a team have to decide exactly the details of what we wanna do.
We want to tell everybody what this ordinance is kind of looking to do, because I don't know if everybody knows exactly. We have people
Oh,
who
sure.
don't know
Sure.
what we're looking to do.
Sorry about that, you're right. So without all the history, the new ordinance will ban plastic bags at retailers and food
Any kind.
locations. Any kind of plastic bags.
No.
Whether it's the thin or the,
Yeah.
any.
Even the ones that say recyclable,
Yeah.
Target, Walmart, those are the big ones. And Publix doesn't do it too much, but they'll ban those. It'll ban styrofoam for food service. You can't get a styrofoam cup anymore, so your chicken salad chick cups will be banned, and your enclosures, your clamshells, those will all be banned if they're made of styrofoam. That's why the startup kit came in. How do we help these businesses transition? Then plastic silverware that you get in takeouts, you'll have to ask for it. And other municipalities that have done this, the businesses save money because they're not putting plastic in every single bag anymore. Same with plastic straws. When you go to a restaurant, I never accept a straw personally, but they're putting straws everywhere, they put straws in it. Those you have to ask for. We talked about, can we ban them, and everybody agreed it's just too much, too hard, too much change at once. Let's just make them upon demand, upon request. And that's, I think, what the council was
And
gonna
that's
take
what
forward.
the survey showed,
Yeah.
was those two items to be request only versus
Yep.
total ban on those.
Yep.
But the other three,
Yep, so,
that's what the survey showed people in the county wanted to get rid of.
okay. So, the basic implementation is, if it passes May 26th, it goes into effect in 8 months. Okay, 8 months after May 26th, it goes into effect. But it doesn't go into effect unless all the municipalities, the 4 municipalities, have also passed it.
Or something similar.
Or, yeah, not exactly, but something similar. But all the municipality staffs have the ordinance today. So it's not like we're gonna wait until here to start that conversation. So if they don't pass it, then the county ordinance does not go into effect. Once they do pass it, the county ordinance will automatically go into effect.
Without the grace period.
After the grace period is done, after 8 months,
After
if Hilton Head has dragged their feet and hasn't passed it yet, and they pass it 2 weeks later, it goes into effect the day Hilton Head passes it. Okay? So about an 8-month transition. So, we think we've got about a year's worth of work, the communication, the planning, the startup support, and then assessment of the impact of the ordinance. That has to be part of our process, so we'll do another survey, is what that comes down to. And probably the county will do the survey for us, actually.
What's the enforcement mechanism?
It's the same one used today.
Codes.
It's code enforcement, and there's an organization in the county with 4 employees that do code enforcement. We talked to the code enforcer a couple weeks ago, and he said, after the ban in 2018 on the thin plastic bags, since then, they've got, I think, 4 complaints. 4, over 6 years. So, we need to change that. That means the public's not paying attention,
Or not knowing
or
where
doesn't
to
know
go.
how to,
Doesn't know how.
Yeah.
And the
So
county,
that's-
the code enforcement people admitted our app stopped working.
Yeah.
And so you went in and you put your note in, and nothing
It-
showed up.
it
And
went
actually, I
nowhere.
tried it, and my complaint never got processed. So there's some work that needs to be done, but there's no new code enforcement that we don't already have today.
And it results, if someone's breaking the ordinance, or not following it, it results in a fine.
It results in letters, and then harsher letters, and then a fine, and then at the end, the county can pull the business license.
But they do codes goes to the business or whatever to see if it is being violated
Yeah.
and gives them the first warning and,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But we are going to put out to let people know how they can,
Yeah, that would be
Notify.
really effective.
yeah,
Yep.
a lot more
Make that
effective.
part of the communication.
Yeah.
I think remembering too, that after we passed the first plastic bag ban, we were very quickly into COVID. And when COVID hit, it seemed that we abandoned a lot of that. So the
Yep.
reason why we probably didn't continue to build on momentum and see some more complaints and have, it was because right away, people didn't want to touch anything, and it seemed at that time not a high priority to worry about what the bag. So I think starting afresh with, clear ways in which the public can reach out to compliance, code compliance is, I think we're starting fresh.
Yeah,
Well, and
it's
two,
very much rough.
it's not like people haven't been through this. This isn't
Well,
something new for them. I mean, it
yeah,
is new, but the process,
Right,
they went through with the initial plastic
Right.
bags.
right. We do have, since COVID, a very different population, and so I do think that in many respects,
It is
we
new.
do have, we can forget a lot of stuff that didn't go well, and we can start anew with, again, I think a pretty solid
I
plan.
think part of that, the outreach and getting us out too, so once we get closer to it, I'm sure between Juliana, Valentina, and that team, if there needs to be some type of a public, to invite businesses, invite public in.
Yep.
And then we can kind of just publicly kind of give them the plan, educate them on those types of things. I think that'll help too, and get that engagement, bring the businesses in, let them have an opinion, cause like you said, we don't, we all shop and eat at all these restaurants, right? So we don't wanna make it tougher on the business that's here too, but at the same time, we wanna, bring them in and get them involved as well.
Courtney from the Port Royal Sound Foundation sent us a nice note yesterday. Some of the big suppliers, one of the big suppliers in particular is working with the Hilton Head Bluffton
Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce.
I can speak to that,
Please,
actually.
please do, please do.
Yeah, so it actually began in our Rotary Companion Group, which we have an environmental Rotary Companion Group. And just from my experience in working at Outside Brands, I know as a small outdoor outfitter, we used to use a consortium to buy. Because we can't really compete with the big guys, REI. So we used a consortium of small outdoor outfitters. And so it occurred to me, why can't we develop the same sort of consortium for small businesses? So we have approached US Foods, and they are extremely interested in looking at ways in which they can provide these types of containers at an increased amount and at a reasonable cost to small businesses and restaurants. And so we're working and have made pretty good progress in we haven't gotten any prices and things, but we've made progress in that sense, and that we hope to be able to offer interested small businesses, whether they're chamber members or not, on Hilton Head Island with a significant reduction in these types of non-plastic to-go containers. Because US Foods will be bringing them in huge bulk. And so therefore, and it would be purchased in huge bulk. So we're in the kind of the sort of middle process of that, but it looks really kind of like a neat pilot. And we've talked to Courtney about the fact that if we can get this going on Hilton Head, it would be a nice thing that could be replicated with other food distributors, perhaps.
And countywide.
Countywide, we could, but we're just focusing right now on Hilton Head to see kind of how does this happen? How do we get this to work? And in talking with US Foods, they're so motivated because they want to be seen as being a little bit more green in terms of their, kind of company culture.
Good
So,
for you.
yeah, so that's kind of a really cool
That's
thing.
good stuff.
So incorporating those kinds of initiatives into the communication that we're gonna run for the county is gonna be important. How do these things all work together, and how do you talk to the businesses? If you can bring that story and that capability to a small business conversation, it's a lot different than saying, you got a new law, you gotta comply. It's a lot different, so that's kind of what
Yeah,
we're trying
and the
to
reps
show.
will be bringing that information
Right.
to their particular clients, so that's really helpful for us.
Okay, I apologize, I want to keep
No.
moving because the next year's plan is really where we need to spend time, so we'll cruise a little bit faster. Nope, not yet, not yet.
I didn't, it's temperamental.
I'm just-
Here we go.
I'm just, one more point, or two more points. Chris and I went to the Ridgeland Council and presented a couple weeks ago. I'm presenting at the Jasper County Council next week, and Hardyville is in February. So we're presenting this plastics reduction story, okay? Hi, Beth. Okay, education and outreach. I don't know that we've had any events since our last meeting. Does anybody know of any particular events? Okay. The status of the collateral acquisition, we have spent some money in buying, collateral is like handouts and stickers and little kids' books, all those kinds of things you hand out when you're at a conference or you're at an event. We've made some progress on that. Sally and I are gonna meet just after this meeting and kind of supercharge the rest of the acquisitions for this year. If we know what it is, we gotta go through the mechanics of making it happen. Okay, any other thoughts on education and outreach? Chris, we didn't talk to the Beaufort County School interactions we had. We should have talked about that in beautification. Do you want to spend just a minute talking about our meetings with Beaufort County Schools?
Quickly, because I know we're running out of time. We for a long period of time have been in touch with the school district, trying to get in there and see what we can do about their waste reduction. And they're huge with waste, I'm afraid, but they're doing the best they can. And we met with a whole consortium of their people. It's very friendly. They're very much in favor of it. Their problem is they have long-term contracts here, long-term contracts there, so this one just got signed. It's an uphill battle, but if we could reduce the school district's waste by half, that landfill may not go away in 15 years. I mean, it's all about the landfill. And we're working on it. We're gonna help them. The school district is their own being. I mean, the county has.
Separate from county government.
Yeah, separate completely, so it's a little difficult for us to go in and we only made suggestions. And they were, if you agree, they were positive.
Yep.
Is it gonna change overnight? No. But could we change it in 5 years? Yeah, and if you could change it in 5 years, that's good.
So there's probably a long-term relationship we're trying to build. We're trying to do two things, and Valentina is probably gonna take the charge on one, which is the academic and education, and how do you get it back into the classrooms?
Yeah.
And how do you teach the 7th graders that recycling is important, and here's how to do it, et cetera, et cetera. A whole initiative that Valentina drives that. Chris and I are more focused on the facilities. Like, they have 31 cafeterias. 31 cafeterias that feed thousands of meals a day. Those cafeterias produce a lot of cardboard, metal, plastic, etc. Can we help them change the way they recycle? They almost do no recycling today. So this is a big, and they are the biggest employer in the county. So this is a big event, big thing that if we can make happen, great, but like Chris said, it's gonna take time. This is not something we can turn on a dime.
But it's something we need to do.
It is, and it's something we put in the budget to provide some money for next year for us to support Valentina, to do, maybe we even provide a recycling container and pay for it for 6 months. You know, a big dumpster outside the back of a school. We don't know yet, but that's conceptually, that's kind of where we want to go with this.
And I'd like to add that Bradley and Victoria and
Yep.
we were all at the meeting and was well supported by not only Keep Beaufort County Beautiful, but the county, and I think we made an
Yeah.
impression on them, you know, that we.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a good meeting.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna, Gene and I are gonna sit down and talk about what's our next approach or how we're gonna go about it. We'll bring that up maybe at the next meeting, but it'd be a good thing if we
Yep.
get her done, I mean.
Who are the decision makers, like you mentioned long-term contracts, or is that a Board of Education?
Yes, the Board of Education
Separate,
kind of owns the schools, so
Yeah.
totally separate from county council.
Yeah.
They have their own budget, they produce, they cause taxes to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
The school board does.
Yeah, yeah.
So we met with one of the most senior academic persons
Mhm.
and the head of facilities. Those two people were the right people for us to meet with. And they were both enthusiastic. It's a question of the mechanics of how do we do it and how fast do we do it. But they were talking about putting it in this year's budget request for next year. So they're interested.
Good start.
Yeah, it's a good start. It's a good
So
start.
at this time, they don't do any everything
They
goes
do.
in?
No, they have some recycling. They have contracts for facility, for their buildings, for their schools.
Mhm.
I think they said they have
It's opt-in
Nine-
by schools.
Yeah.
So it's essentially like the principal, what they were saying was the principal had to specifically request there to be a recycling dumpster in the back and that to be added on to that particular school properties. And I actually had a meeting on Monday, and only 4 schools
Four.
said that they have an existing recycling program. So they got back to us with that. But there's a lot of, it just said COVID was just like the determining kind of, everything kind of fell off. And some that say that they want a recycling dumpster in the back, but they haven't been given one, so. I think the facilities part is definitely where kind of,
Will you keep your ear to the ground and let us know what your impressions are of what they want, because you may see them a little bit more than we do.
yeah.
Now, how we got in originally was that Bradley and I are personal friends with the person that makes the decisions.
Yeah, the school has,
Just
that
like-
individual school has to own their program.
Yeah.
Like, they don't like, it's the principal's,
'Cause
it's
everything
it's
is
their school, it's kinda like their.
Different contracts
Oh,
and
yeah, it's-
janitorial.
I mean,
Yeah.
we did it in
Pretty
Atlanta
confusing.
at individual schools. It wasn't a school board decision.
Right.
And we went to certain, with the principal first, and then brought in a couple of the teachers
That's right.
who, you know,
It's usually like the science club or
It was
something
the
like that.
science and-
That's
and
right,
art
usually it's the
department.
science club and they'll come in, but usually that teacher or that person that represents that, they kinda have to own it, run that program.
yeah.
Because it's kind of their own little business. Each school's like this, its own little business.
Yeah.
And they have to, they have to own it and run it. If they don't, then the school district's like, they can't.
So the contracts exist, they can do it if they want to. Lots of work to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be a multi-year project.
Yeah.
And we wanna be engaged, so we can engage with funding, we engage with reasonably smart people to help in any way you want. But from an academic perspective, please keep us engaged, but we're gonna concentrate more on the facilities
Yes,
management
yesterday,
side.
Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to mention. I think that
That's what we
y'all
want to do.
kind of keeping that at the forefront.
Yep.
Because I'm already trying to work on the curriculum
Yep.
aspect and providing more resources and getting in that part.
Perfect, that's
And remember
perfect.
too, that we've got a good number of private schools that do not come underneath the
Yep.
Board of Education.
And we're already working with them.
A few, like, yeah, a few of them up here. But bit by bit. First get
Yeah.
school district, then from there we can kind of, or if I can multiply into like 10 other people.
I just wanna point out contracts, we
They
They-
can, and they
and
look at some of that, but it's, some of that stuff's tough with these haulers. That's the biggest thing in there, because we're in a contract with a hauler. And I mean, at any time, we could potentially stop the contract, but it's pretty tough. That's where these haulers like Republic and Waste Management, all them, they have, I mean, they're in a hole. That's what.
The county did a
Sure,
good,
but you are right, they can be amended, you can add,
Yeah.
anytime you change or do it, they're looking at it from a financial standpoint, well, you can change it, what's gonna cost this to change it, so.
so the school district did a good job with the designs of the contract. They do not have to amend the contract to add recycling. It's already there on a list of things they can buy. They have prices already set. All they need to do is tell the hauler, I need 3X and 4Y, and that's part of the contract. So the price might change a little bit, of course, but there's no amendment, there's no long contract negotiation process. They did a good job with that, but they're just not using it.
So
Or they haven't
do they
budgeted
have
for it.
contracts with like
Yes,
Waste
a little
Management?
bit. They're not
or
using it
Republic?
because
So
they
they
haven't
have
budgeted.
separate contracts with them.
Yes,
Good question.
Waste Management can in fact provide them with
absolutely.
all of this stuff.
Yes, it's in the contract, yeah.
What I do find interesting is that they're allowing schools to do separate things,
It's, and we didn't realize that until we went to that meeting, because
Which
they told us that
is odd.
the principal basically has to agree, then you have to have a couple teachers that are on board, and I was like,
But
because I
we
guess
need to-
because they don't have the special
Yeah.
employees that actually do that, you know?
Not to
That's
talk out
because,
of,
that's because it does not affect the budget. It's all an internal effort. And there's no budget involved.
I ran school districts for 46 years in education. Never once did I allow a individual school in my school district to determine what we were going to do school-wise. So I find this a little unusual.
We
But
need you.
But you gotta
Thank you
keep,
for telling us
keep in,
that.
keep in
Yeah,
mind,
that'll help us a lot.
keep in mind, there's two substantially different aspects here. One is facilities management, which is the cafeteria,
Yeah.
the supplies, the custodial. That is all run at the county, at the district level.
Correct.
The recycling, if it happens at the school level, in the classrooms, they let the principal do that. So that's really two different beasts.
And
And the recycling types are different, the materials that gets recycled different.
Gee, the schools
Very
in
different.
Toronto that did implement this, and I was involved in some of this. It was plastic bottles, aluminum cans, that's all it was. And it was, there were containers at specific points around the school, and it was a voluntary thing, student-based, okay? The containers were emptied by student government, volunteered to empty them into it, and then the science teacher drove it over to the recycle center. So there was no budget involved, and like
Yep.
Jean was saying, it wasn't a school effort, it was student and teacher driven,
Right.
but approved by the
All right, so
principal.
we won't waste any.
Yeah, let's,
Yeah.
let's, if we can move on, okay?
Yeah.
So, again, next year, lots to do with the new plastics ordinance, lots to do with the schools. Schools are being a little bit slower. I'm gonna keep cruising through here, because we've gotta get to next year, we're not even there yet. Spending to date, we spent 4 of our 50K. Did not spend much since the last time we met. The next 4 bullets is where what we've committed to already. The sign, I say it's about $7,500 just for the sign, that's committed. We have 2 people going to the conference next week, I think it's next week, no, week after.
Weekend.
The Keep America Beautiful conference in New Orleans.
Who's going?
Chris and I, everyone was invited. I think it might be too late now, but maybe not if you wanna go. And KBCB, us, will pay for that. And this conference is being paid for by the board, not by Chris and I personally. So that's about 5K we've dedicated. We've got some more collateral in the pipeline that we're gonna approve and buy today. That leaves us about 21 plus or minus to spend before the end of the year. You, the beautification committee, if you are gonna spend money on plants, et cetera, that Bradley's gonna plant, great, we've already approved it, you just need to do it,
Okay.
and we need to know how much. That way we can then say, look at other things we wanna do, but it's coming down to more plants and signs. I think that's kinda, and more collateral, but those are the kind of things, that's all we have left.
Do we have any more of those yard signs that say, don't litter in your backyard?
We'd have to look inside and see.
I don't think I've seen it in my supply closet.
Okay, cause
No.
that's something I would like to see us order more of.
Right, so we're going to order that. We also wanna order signs for when we do a planting. We wanna put in this delivered to you by Keep You for Kind of Beautiful sign. It's kind of semi-permanent, won't require a permit, you can go and stick it, but it's not that cheap flimsy stuff.
Right.
So we wanna make it nice enough that it'll last a couple of years. But we're gonna probably buy 10 or 15 of those, and then have those to, you put them wherever you guys do plantings. Make sense?
That, yeah.
Was this group involved, several years ago, I was on Hilton Head Island, and we were giving out tarps
Yeah.
to
Yes.
Cover
those
your-
people who were coming there in pickup trucks
No, it's
that just had stuff flying out of the
Yeah.
truck.
That was a
Yes.
great initiative.
And we
It
have it, it's
was,
coming
and
up
it
again
worked
in
very
April.
well with some people saying, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
This is great, if you give me one, I'll use it.
It's actually a law that you should, you can
It
have.
is,
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know that.
right.
That
But
was
that's
money
a-
that we did through,
You wanna buy some tarps?
that was through come out of
No, we
Pride
have,
grant
we have them.
several years
We
ago.
used them
that
through
we helped,
Palmetto Pride, and
um,
we ordered some
Distributed.
distribute them.
Yeah, and that, we
sideways
do that.
convenience centers,
They kinda,
convenience centers.
Do we have any tarps now?
Yeah.
Yes, and we continue to hand them out at the convenience centers. It's not done daily, but we
maybe spurts of.
We do have like a day that we do like,
It's like the one thing.
Yeah.
Tarp Your Load
There's a,
Day.
there's a Top Your Load initiative starting in April, and there will be billboards going up. We have all already, backloaded in several hundred, several hundred, tarps, through solid waste and recycling that are ready to go.
We have
So-
about 200 right now
Yeah.
in stock.
That's a lot.
Kelly and I are working together in April to be handing them out for zero tolerance, at the major 4 convenience centers. And also we're coordinating with BCTV, sort of broadcast it as it's happening. And then we
Okay.
talk
In the
about zero
billboards.
tolerance and stuff.
Good job.
There's also a detailed pamphlet that goes with it.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, so this is the financial plan that we keep, the county does the books for us, we don't actually do our own finance and accounting work, but this is just a spreadsheet to keep track. This basically says what I just said, so I don't think we need to go over this again unless someone has a specific question.
And then that's what you're.
This is what we spent by details, we get a report from the county, from Sally, that says, you bought this, and I just keep track of it on the spreadsheet, that's all it is. Okay, staff updates.
All right. As you can see, Victoria isn't here today, so I'm gonna kind of pinch hit a little bit with the staff updates. You all have the newsletter that you received in your board packet, so I'm just kind of gonna hit some high points. Victoria did attend the Compost 2026 conference in Sacramento last week, and subsequently took her certification exam and passed her certification exam for our compost for herself and for our program. So we are all systems go on that, on the compost pilot. Webinars are going on. Education is continuing to gear up for getting the community involvement. There is an online quiz. If you haven't already taken it, go on and take it, to get your pass, your combination lot to be able to dispose of your compost. We want to make sure everybody knows what can and cannot be disposed in the proper way to do that. And as you'll see out in the lobby, there are compost crocks that are out there for the public to pick up, one per household.
Terrific.
So that's where we're standing right now. Yep, there's the compost crock.
This one's mine, you can't have this one, but.
Valentina and her team are working on the Earth Day prep for April, and Jesus and Kelly are working for the Adopt a Highway Appreciation luncheon for in the February,
It's gonna be set for March 25th
March 25th.
over in Walter Recreation Center.
Great.
good.
And then Beaufort County was awarded $8,250 for the calendar year 2026 for the Palmetto Pride grant. Those monies will be spent for signage, billboards, and initiatives by the litter crew for Beaufort County. Not y'all, sorry.
No, that's okay. No, that doesn't matter. It's good stuff. It's just
Good stuff, good
It's
stuff.
not one more thing for us to worry about, is my point, right? We don't have to think about that.
As far as staff updates, there has been an offer placed for an educational outreach coordinator for solid waste and recycling. She has accepted and is in her onboarding, so it'll be within the month. We'll probably
Another meeting.
have somebody coming along. As far as
Any more you need, right?
As far as litter enforcement, all of the data is on the sheets. Oops, went too far. If you have any questions on those, Jesus is here and can help us with those questions. And I think that's what I've got. Do you have anything for staff updates, Bradley?
The only thing I had, I wanna bring up one thing. We were talking about this, not it really, and this is kind of new, recycling, solid waste, it's kind of new to me. I mean, I kind of know it, but just kind of getting into it, trying to spread the word into it. So I would encourage, so yesterday I went to the recycling day, at the State House. So they have, all your legislators, your representatives, everybody's there, and this was kind of focused just on, Carolina Recycling Association kind of puts it on. It's kind of open to kind of whoever, so I would definitely encourage KBCB, Assessment, I would say, that'd be something good if some county council members could be there. I think it's a good interaction, to get a little help from the state level, even funding. So I think it's a really good event.
Is it quarterly? Is it annual?
It's once a year.
Once a year.
So they have it right before the conference they have next week in Myrtle Beach.
No, next month.
Next month. So next month they have a conference in Myrtle Beach that kind of centered around the same thing. So this is kind of like, meet your legislator kind of day, bring in recycling. So it was a really good event. We're gonna reach out.
And it's at the State House?
Yes, sir. Well, they don't have it at the State House. It's actually, they call it Recycling Day at the South Carolina State House on the Hill. But they don't actually have it at the State House anymore because it conflicts with some stuff, but they have it at the Palmetto Room, which is like right behind this right there. So really nice.
And when was it, or when is it going to be?
It was, so next year it'll be it'll be the same time frame. But once I get it, Miss Sally, we'll get it, we can push it out to.
Yeah, we wanna know.
Please do.
It's a good, and I mean, there's private businesses there. It's open to kind of anybody that does this in the recycling
Right. industry.
industry.
Great.
So from county level, and there was only a couple counties represented, which I thought was kind of, I mean, I was there for Beaufort County. I think there might have been a Lexington County maybe person there. But I think it'd be really good to get your state reps, involved, let them know that we're there. And, I think it'd be really
Let
good.
us know.
And we're gonna reach out to some of these, state representatives. I'll run up the chain through Jared to reach out to possibly have them come to, Earth Day. I think it'd be good to get, I'm trying to pronounce his name, he's the committee chair for, the Labor, Commerce and Industry, Bill,
Herb Kirschman.
Herb Kirsch.
Herbstrom. I think it'd be really good for him to come, because part of that is he's like kind of energy, public facilities, which are solid waste recycling centers, water sewers, so he's the chair of that. It'd probably be a bad idea to passing it, I don't know, that might be, somebody in that area could reach out for that contact, and we can get an invite to the Earth Day. I think it'd be really good to get those, state level representatives to Earth Day.
Good for you. I agree.
Let them know what we're doing, and if they can give us some
Okay,
help.
I'll contact them.
Okay, thank you.
I know Chris spoke at the last Earth Day last year. If there's more support you need, whatever you need, just ask, and, we'd love to have KBCB present again. Even if it's short, that's fine, but if you need more than that, I think we'll try to get a table this year,
Definitely, yeah.
so that we can be a little bit more actively engaged. Okay, so just keep us in the loop.
So what is that date gonna be?
April
Is
25th.
that
The date is Friday, April 24th.
Okay, April 24th?
24th, yeah. And I'll forward the save the date to Sally. I
Great.
sent it to, through Beaufort, to the employees, Beaufort County government. I need to send it out to local organizations and partners that we usually send it to. And if you have any thoughts of people to send it to, volunteer organizations, I'll send it to them. Usually, I think I have a lot though, but
That was a nice event last year you did.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Very proud of
I think it's gonna be, it's gonna be better this year too.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be bigger.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have more
Cool.
volunteers, more support, more help. So it should be
We're
good.
in 100%.
Okay,
Is it gonna be held at the Maritime Center or where?
no, we're doing it at the Revale Road, so we hold the
Yeah.
Oh,
ceremony
at
there.
the,
Yeah,
Edmund.
and we'll have like
Gotcha.
various pickup locations, primarily on kind of that main highway. What is it? 170?
170.
I was at the Hilton Head Airport.
Or,
Last
yeah,
year.
or there's also some pickup locations, wherever is like works and convenient for you.
We'll
But yeah,
have all
well,
worked
that
out.
stuff will start rolling out, we're working on it.
Okay, great.
If you need any Palmetto Pride speakers to come down, let me know.
Yeah, we definitely,
I spoke with them yesterday, they were there, so I
They
spoke
were
with
there?
them a little bit.
Good for you.
And I spoke with DES, pretty extensively on a few things, on support and those kind of things, so.
Good,
All right, continue to move.
yes.
new
One
business.
thought for Jesus, as we move into next fiscal year, we'd like to talk a little bit about understanding your data a little better. We need to, over the course of the next couple of years, be able to assess whether or not the new ordinance works. Is it having an impact? We're not gonna ask you to do anything different, except maybe, can you give us a distribution, how often are you seeing this type of litter? You're
So what-
seeing thick plastic bags a lot? We haven't addressed that problem well enough, or styrofoam a lot, we haven't addressed that problem. That's kind of the data we're looking to get next
Now,
year.
hopefully, one thing that we're gonna look at implementing is some AI cameras in the vehicles, so when they're driving down the road, it'll actually pick up and you tell it what it is, and it'll actually tell you what that is, so we can see from now to maybe once we get this fully implemented, maybe we can have some of those things, we're working on implementing some of those things slowly. Obviously, it comes down to budget and money and things like that, so we, but I think that would help out the litter
You
crew.
know what would help is, there are a variety of groups, I'm a member of one, ours is called the Riverbend Road Warriors, and once a month, we pick up the litter, and, you know, we have hands-on of what we're actually picking up, and it may be helpful if we get some dialogue that way amongst all of those, so we can see what's going on around the county.
Are you
'Cause-
using the state of South Carolina data collection tool?
You know, I'm not sure.
Because that is the tool that everyone is using. Gene knows the most about it.
Yeah, there's two that you can use. We use South Carolina Aquarium one, which is a litter app, super easy to use.
Okay.
And then there's a second one that you can use that's out of, the environmental services in the state.
All
And
right,
it's
I will
Adopt-
find out
it's
from
the
our
Adopt a
leaders
Beach.
which one we are using, if we are using one. I know we keep track of the number of bags,
Yeah.
and, you know, we do 3 miles of 170, which is constantly littered because of all of the vehicles that are going to the landfill that don't have covers on them. Things are flying out. I have noticed over the course of time, a significant decrease of styrofoam. We used to have tons of styrofoam. We don't have as much.
So you guys know, Gene's request is coming out of Mayor Toomer in Bluffton, specifically asked for this kind of information on the last referendum. As a result, you know, he specifically asked, what effect did the previous one have? And we couldn't answer it.
Yeah, so what's gonna happen is, just to sort of give you a summary of what we're doing, working on, as Mr. Harry mentioned, we're eventually gonna implement the AI software onto the litter control
Great.
vehicles.
Great.
So that way it eliminates having to, I mean, right now, just to be realistic, the members out there, the crew members, we just don't have time
Yeah, you
at the
can't
moment
pop
to
bags
count
up.
every
Yeah.
bit of item going into the trash bags. So right now, the scale is we're determining how much by just the weight of the bag itself.
Right.
And that's the statistics that you're seeing now.
Right.
We do a metric system which doesn't work that well, it's not as accurate, so right now we're just gonna rely, hopefully down the road with the AI tools, as they're implemented, it'll just save a whole lot of time. So with that said, in addition to that, stat-wise, what we're doing is I'm actually converting, as we're speaking, a lot of the data onto our smart sheets that we're going with.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll give us some nice graphs and things of that nature. And that's gonna be across the board.
Okay.
And that's gonna take some time, but that's where we're working on now with the Smart Sheet,
Great.
project. In addition to that, looking at other tools that we can sort of implement to sort of, whatever data we're collecting, make it a little bit more efficient and more accurate as we present it.
Is your AI plan part of your budget for next fiscal year?
Well, it'll be kind of through our IT, we're still working through that. We're still trying to figure out who, like, if we're paid, we've demoed a couple through Fleet just demoed a couple. It didn't really, it was just trying to see how they work, and we're trying to figure that part out.
Okay.
I'm not actually physically put it in my budget for next year, but doesn't mean that we can't buy a camera, it's just a piece of equipment, and they're not that expensive.
Yeah.
Cause I've even looked into ones that are like the body cam, and they're, like, you can actually, the person that's picking the litter up, as they're picking it up, it's just,
It's counting it.
it's counting it as they're picking it up, so it knows what they're doing.
That's pretty cool.
Jasper County will ask me that question.
Yeah.
What are you doing to keep track of what you're picking up? So they're gonna ask that question.
And
I
right
might make a
now,
commitment.
right now, we're just picking up.
Okay,
We-
okay.
it-
All right.
I would just say that we're, you know, with the administration now, Mr. Harriet, Victoria, and everyone else, they've been very supportive
Yep.
in all new implementations across the
Great.
board. I mean, we're moving forward in the direction that I would like to see litter control kind of move forward with. But again, the support is there, and I greatly appreciate that. Now, with that said, I just wanna add a last thing. Ms. Kelly, our litter control supervisor, is working on mapping system with GIS. And maybe you can speak on that. We're not too far into it right now, but that's also gonna help with the coordinates.
Okay.
Where we're picking up most litter.
Okay, good.
And we're gonna be, I guess she's gonna be dividing it by, I don't wanna talk too much, cause that's her pet peeve, that's her project, but kind of going from there. And again, we're adding technology as we're going.
Great, great. Okay.
You wanna
Excellent.
talk about your GIS program?
Just improving efficiencies will, the problem is there's never enough manpower, the litter is overwhelming. And, just if we can improve on efficiencies within, it allows more time to, the opportunity to pick up more litter. But, just the capability of the GIS system to gather that information, by section and by street, it will allow us to be more effective.
Great.
And to, identify material too.
And that'll help us when we identify those areas, to her point, that'll help us identify, okay, look, we know this area is bad. We know this street, this road, man, it's like every week we're having to go there, pick it up. And then maybe we can kind of push that, hopefully, either maybe law enforcement or somebody say, look, we need to kind of patrol. It gives us an idea where we need to look stronger, and we can put it out to the public too. We can put out a public notice saying, hey, look, we're picking this up every week.
It's costing you money.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
but that's gonna help us, that is gonna help us
That's
kind of
great.
target certain areas.
Valentin and I talked about targeting, once you know the area, the school, the church, the whatever's,
Yep.
community council in that area.
Great.
And the problem we have with 170, one side is Beaufort County, the other side is Jasper County.
Yeah.
And it's, as I said, from 278, the 3 miles we do is just past our animal shelter. And both sides of the road, we have like 17, 18 people that go out there and pick up 64 bags of trash.
It's bad.
It is.
We're trying to work with the haulers, the contractors, we're
Yeah.
reaching out to them too, because a lot of it is roll-off
Is them,
containers.
yeah.
It's a lot of roll-off containers, and they're trying, I mean, they're trying,
Yeah.
we meet with them, we've had meetings with them, but we're still pushing, look, y'all gotta do better.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, yeah.
I
It
have a
is.
question on the handout that we had. Your operational performance metrics, you had your volunteer efforts and your professional crew. Are the numbers you gave us on that monthly or annual?
That's, where you're seeing, yeah, I think it gave you the time frame as to what those stats, they don't, okay.
If it's there, I don't see it.
So the stats I try to provide are monthly stats.
Okay, so we could figure this, you give me the annual as 33,500 pounds. And then the volunteer efforts, you gave me 4,680.
Says January.
There should be dates.
It's on this
to
page.
what that's representing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
there's
looking
one
at
from
Sally, this page,
Okay, thank you. I'm like,
down at the bottom, and then the top of the next page.
Yeah, it's January. Right there.
So at the bottom, that is January?
Yeah, it says it right there under litter enforcement. It says in January, the litter control crew.
After this.
Same combined, but,
It's the first in January.
okay, so this is just January then?
It's
Okay,
a time
thank you.
frame, yeah. So, yeah, so what I try to do is, that's true, right, I've actually included Gene on the monthly, I call it the monthly summary, it's not really a newsletter, as to where Dr. Highway stands, crew members stand, so on and so forth. And that way we can have comparisons month to month, or even, what happened last year, comparison to what we are now at this point.
Okay, sounds great.
So do a nice luncheon this year, and we'll all come down, no, I'm serious, we'll all come down there with all the
We hosted
volunteers.
it at Belfair 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's, because it's good to
I
get to
don't
know
know
them,
what
and
they've
we'll
done
all
since.
sit there and have a little chat with them, see what we
Sounds
can do to
good.
help.
All right, we gotta go to new business, so.
No,
Wait,
So we're gonna follow the agenda still, so we have, next
You
on the
gotta-
agenda is, appointment of 26 chair and co-chair.
Right. That was done at the last council.
Well, it's an annual thing.
We do it every
It's,
year.
by county ordinance, you have to appoint annually. So we'll need the board to make an appointment
do we need
motion.
a nomination?
Yep.
Mhm. First for chair, then for co-chair.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just,
His wife wants you not to be him, but.
I'm sorry. I nominate Chris Campbell for chair,
Second.
and I
All,
nominate,
what,
okay, we got
Good
all
vote
in
for that.
favor.
all in favor for that?
Okay.
Voting members, go ahead.
And I nominate Jean Seville for vice chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
All
Okay,
right,
moving
easy
on.
enough. Hopefully, everything goes that fast.
Moving on.
Sorry.
So item B, spending plan for remaining funds, we've already talked about that, we don't have to do that again. 27 draft budget. Okay, I'm going to admit, this is Gene sitting in his kitchen, thinking about what are the things we've done and what we wanna do, and then taking a run at what I think the budget request should look like. So, voting members here should kinda look at it and see if you agree to each one of them, and then the funding we're gonna request. This is not the funding we're gonna
I
get.
can't see it, can you read, you,
I'll do that, I'll go through each one.
And,
Wait,
and it
Jane-
was in your
Gee,
Go ahead.
book, in
just a
your
second.
packets too,
Can
so.
you go back to 2026 financial plan?
Sure.
I mean, we just kind of jumped over that.
No, we already talked it through, but yes, we can go back to
You
it.
may have done it in the last meeting, and I'm sorry I
That's
wasn't
okay,
there. I have one question.
sure.
The sign, the Welcome to Beaufort County sign on 278, do we have a final total amount, including the landscape?
There's no
There is a
landscaping
landscape.
involved.
Landscape, well, the landscape architect was
Yes,
$1,200.
yes.
How much is the total for that sign?
So the sign will be about $7,500.
Okay,
The landscape architect
Is
for
that
that
okay?
sign will be about $600,
okay.
half the architect's fee. I don't know who pays the encroachment permit cost.
I don't think there's
It may not be one, because it's the county.
There's no cost.
Okay,
What
So
I'm
it'd be in
asking
the-
is how much money is coming out of our budget for that sign?
in the range of $8,000. In the range of $8,000.
and it's probably,
81.
that's probably a
81?
good price.
Well,
81.
600 and,
And does that include
Yeah.
the landscape architect?
It does.
Yeah. yes,
Yes, that is the 7,500 for the sign and
600.
600 for the architect.
now, 7,500, does that include installation?
Yes, ma'am, it
Okay.
does.
Okay, how come those figures don't match up with what's on this financial plan?
Because we're talking actuals, what you're looking at is budgets. We've allocated enough money, we've allocated, I think, 13 or,
But our only actual expense to date on that is $1,200.
that is correct. The only thing that we've spent is the 1,200 for the architect.
But you're telling me 600 is all we're taking.
For this
out.
sign.
6 for this sign was the question, it was for this sign. This sign is $600.
Uh-huh.
We have not contracted with the sign company yet.
Okay,
We have
okay,
the
let's
propo-
back
we-
up a minute.
Sure, go ahead.
Your budget shows actual expense for that sign, $1,200.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
What does that include?
So that includes 2 sign layouts, but they've only done one. They're gonna pay we've already paid for it, They have to do the second sign location. They haven't done it yet.
All right, where's the 600 for the landscape architect?
That is the 600, that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
part of the 1,200.
The 1,200 is 2 signs.
That's the landscape architect.
Okay,
Right.
so when we get a budget like this, it would help to break this down, because there's no way I can look at this budget and say, oh, we've spent X amount of dollars on this sign.
Okay, what you're looking at is what was spent, what's already been contracted for by the county, not what we have got prices for. So we've got a price for 7,500 for the sign. You're not looking at that. It's in the budget, but it's not actual, because we haven't bought the sign yet. I understand what you're saying. If you want the detailed items that gets bought, it's on the screen
This
that
one.
Sally had up here a minute ago. There's the actual expenditures that have been gone, there you go, it's on the back of their page. Those are the actual expenditures that have been made,
Okay.
right? And with luck, next month, the sign will be added to that list.
And 600 of that landscape architect will move to another budget line.
It'll, yes, it'll likely move to the, either the plantings, we can use that 600 for plantings, or we can use it for architecture work for another sign.
Okay, it just numbers don't add up. Okay. All right, thank you.
Sure. All right, so back to FY '27.
All right.
I'll talk through these quickly. There's a couple of new items on it. Okay, first one is just the plantings. It's the same thing we've done for the last couple of years. I proposed $20,000. Do you all think that we should make that $5,000 or $50,000?
Stick with
Is
the
that enough?
20 for now.
20
until
enough
we
for
see-
now?
you know, it depends on what they're gonna do at
Right.
170 and 278, you know.
Yep. Okay, 20's good for a budget submission,
Yep.
okay?
Welcome signs.
Yes, so it actually says up there, 5 signs. I did this before we kind of decided that 5 is the total number of signs, although that may change because the county council needs to decide how many signs they want. I put $8,000 a sign times 5, and that's $40,000. And I think 8,000 is probably good. The next signs will be a little smaller. Architect fees are a little bit less, not substantially less, and there shouldn't be any other fees. So we should be able to do it for 8,000 a pop. Again, you gotta worry about inflation and all that kind of stuff, but, and procurement says that we might be able to use the same vendor, sign vendor, to make the other signs, which should show a little bit of economy of scale of there as well. So that's that $40,000. Support, next one, support Beaufort County Public Schools. Chris and I, in talking about, is there a way that we can, rent a dumpster for 3 months? Can we create a new program or provide materials to the schools? How can we help the schools move forward? And 15,000 felt like a good number. If somebody thinks that's not a good number, then we can change it. All right, again, it's just a guess.
Should be 50,000.
You wanna
Yeah,
make it
I think-
50?
I think it's low.
Okay.
I think it's low.
Okay, I can do that easy change. The next one is support Beaufort County Plastic Reduction Initiative. I spent time this morning, as
Wait,
early this
wait, you
afternoon.
skipped one.
Sorry, did I?
The rice trunk.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
skipped
the
the
rice
rice
trunk,
truck.
create, and install the rice trunk.
Oh, rice trunk,
at
right,
Beaufort
right.
Waterfront.
So Chris has had a vision for a number of years
Yes.
to install a rice trunk. It was shot down a little bit earlier this fiscal year because the state didn't think it was a good idea to use it as a road sign. So then we've been talking about, can we make it a memorial and put it somewhere, and we talked to Bradley about this as well. Can we buy a rice trunk, put it somewhere and make it a historical monument? And we've talked about maybe down at the waterfront in Beaufort, maybe there's a better place to put it. But we're not gonna be able to do that this year. This year, we're not gonna be able to do that. We will do a final adjustment of FY '26 dollars in April. Okay, we don't have to do that today, but we'll do a final tweaking of those dollars in April, okay? This is essentially moving the rice trunk to next year. Everybody okay with that as again, initial budget request? This is again, a request, we're not necessarily gonna get funded, but everybody okay with that?
Chris, can we what was your, what can you build it for? Did we get a cost for building that restaurant?
It depends where we're gonna build a real one to put in a park or
Yeah.
a smaller one to put on the side of the road.
So
Smaller
you're-
ones are about 7,000.
We can't put them on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Like we can't.
Well, actually, you can, but that's another
You
whole
gotta
story.
send them back.
So 20 is a guesstimate. I
Yeah,
mean,
20 is a guess.
Okay.
if it's more, then we'll think about whether we can afford it.
It's on the back burner, this
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna keep moving if that's okay.
Yeah.
Support for the plastic reduction initiative. This is all the communication activities that we talked about earlier. You know, we're envisioning buying media time. We're envisioning buying lots of different things with that. Again, 25K is just the guess that we have. We'll see what that goes, but that's the idea behind it. The
I'd
next,
make it 30,
please.
because I mean, you know,
You want that 130?
we're gonna be the ones out there screaming and hollering about it.
Okay,
Why,
Happy to do
why don't we combine those two lines?
because they're really different things. And what we wanna make sure the county is comfortable with is we envision buying startup kits, which is stacks of eco-friendly containers, and distributing them to small businesses. We want,
Small
church, yeah, anybody who wants them. But we wanna make sure that it isn't a black or white. Like, the communication effort has to happen no matter what. Whether we do the startup kits can be separate. I think it's a hugely important part of it, but if the county says, we don't want you doing that, I don't think we wanna put them together. That was the point. Once we get a budget, we can adjust these, and if it makes sense, Brenda, at that point, we get support, put them together. I have no issues with that. It's just a question of, as we communicate this to the county, the council, they're the one, NRC usually, the ones who decide whether or not, you know, the budget is in line with what we are thinking. Okay? The number 7 there, Keep America Beautiful Conference attendance. I put in 6 attendees at $2,500 each. We have not spent that historically, but I'm trying to encourage everyone to go to a conference. And if there's no money there, it's easy to say no. People are saying no anyway, but maybe we can get people to go.
It's really fun.
It is fun, it is fun. But then more conferences, like the recycling conference, there's no reason why we as a team shouldn't be thinking about,
Well, we should maybe
Bigger than
add
community.
recycling conference to that line. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because I would love to.
Or Waste Expo is a really good one, that's a big one, Waste Expo.
Waste Expo? Yeah, let's,
We just need to know when.
Just put in
Yep.
environmental
Good.
Well,
conference.
I will.
it does, it's the catch-all phrase, and other conferences.
and all, yeah, good for you.
So,
Good for you.
that's good.
Okay, so again, $2,500 is about what it costs to go to a conference nowadays, with travel, and we're flying to New Orleans next week, so, in 2 weeks, so it's what it costs. Outreach materials, we had 30,000 in the budget last year, we couldn't spend it. We're gonna be doing a lot of outreach materials in other places here, so 15, we just bring that down. We might do some more general, like we might wanna buy some more shopping bags and water bottles, those kinds of things. That's what that 15K is about. All right, and then next year is the Marine Corps Air Show.
Mhm.
We can do bigger than we did last year.
Love to.
Last year, we can do bigger, we can do more. I put in 5K, everybody supports the air show, so everybody wants to do something at the air show, so I felt like that's a separate item that, you know, I think people will support.
It's good to itemize it like that too. That's good to just separate that out so you know you
Yeah.
have X dollars for this function.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a big deal, right? And it was a great show, a huge number of people. We can do more.
And I've got the young lady's phone number who's in charge too, so we'll get it in
Excellent.
place.
What date,
Excellent.
what's the date?
Oh, April something, yeah.
I need to know to put it on the quench
Yeah.
buggy.
A week after Heritage.
Oh, yeah, I want the quench buggy on.
Well, we
yeah.
have to reserve it, so.
I'll get that.
Yeah, we definitely need to.
Okay.
No, it's this year, this year.
No,
it's not. It's next year?
Blue
Angels is not this year,
No.
it's not here.
There's no Marine Corps,
Not this
It's
year.
every other year.
It was
It,
every other
it
year
would
this
be
year.
2027.
yes.
Oh,
next
so
year,
there's
next
no
April.
air show.
Yeah, we-
Oh,
But
okay.
it's fiscal year 26, seven.
We need to,
That's why it's in the budget.
we need to reserve that early, though. It's
Yeah.
become-
Okay.
It's-
I'll see if I can get it.
Okay, so that's the estimate that I came up with. We're gonna update schools to 50K from 25K. We're gonna upgrade the, plastics initiative from 25 to 30. I'll tweak the conference language, or maybe not. So that'll add 25 and 5. So what is, that's 190 now, so it'll go to
What'd you say you were
15.
gonna change on the
Two.
schools?
It's 150
schools
now.
will go from,
15 to,
no, the, support,
It's 150 now. Okay.
it's 150 now, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
No,
So-
190.
That's
So
190, I'm
it'll
sorry.
move up
190.
190.
190.
So, school initiatives recycling program is line 3, that'll go from 15 to 50. Okay? Just as a logic check, last year, I think our budget request was 330. We had a big number in there for recycling support, for litter pickup support. And 2 years in a row, the council didn't really want us to do that. And that's fine, and so we're not gonna do that this year, we're not gonna make you say no again.
And I think just budget-wise, I think if you put a good solid number in like you're doing this, and then really stick to that budget, council will be more apt to approve it because they see that you can accurately, use what you're budgeting.
Yeah, that's,
It helps. I mean, we do it, in our, each department, we have to make sure that we use
Yeah.
we try to use every dime of every line item.
so in April, we have another meeting in 2 months. In April, we'll make the final realignment of the budget for this fiscal year. We have to spend the money, or they're not gonna give us more next year.
That's right.
Correct.
So we gotta do good things with it, don't waste it, but do good things. And
Yeah.
so we're way better off this year than we were last year. We only spent 14 for the whole year last year. And this year, we've already committed to 21, and we will commit the rest, so, and signs could even be the way we do that.
And 7, just make that KBCB and other appropriate
Yep.
conferences, get rid of the word attendance, now you got it covered.
Good deal, good deal. In our defense a little bit on spending last year, it was difficult.
Yeah.
We were learning the ropes.
Well, number one, we're volunteers, I mean, it's hard to do, and so, yes, there's a learning curve there, but we're at the end of it, so we're good to go.
Okay, any other thoughts on the budget?
No, I think that's good. You did a
Okay,
good
so
job.
we'll package this up. We'll have to do a justification for each one of them, each budget line item. I'll do all the financing ones and the marketing related ones, working with Jessica. But the beautification ones, you guys are gonna have to write, same thing we wrote last year, just a little bit of tweaks to it. If you need to know where it is, it's on the portal. If you need a hard copy, ask me, and either Sally or I will send you the Word document that you guys can mark
Need
up.
our copy.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that,
I already tell you.
we'll do that.
I've got my computer working.
when you plan on us
Finally.
voting on this budget?
Yeah, where are we now, guest?
No, we have to agree right now that this is the budget request we're gonna go forward with. So we should probably move to do that,
Oh,
Yeah.
I so move that we accept this proposed,
as changed.
As
as
changed.
changed, for the fiscal year 2026 to 2027.
For the FY 27 budget submission.
Yes.
Okay, tell me, I'm sorry, tell me again, you're taking line 3 from 15 to 50, and there was another one you were changing.
Yes, we're changing the plastic reduction initiative by 5, from number 4, from 20, nope, not 4, sorry.
Number 5,
Number 5, from 25 to 30.
okay, and you're reducing the plastics initiative?
Nope,
Nope.
nope,
Okay, so our changes are, line 3 goes from 15 to 50, line 5 goes from 25 to 30.
Yes.
yes,
Those are the only changes?
yes,
Okay, thank you.
you bet. Okay, so
We have a
movements made.
one move. We need a second.
second. All in favor? Budget is passed.
Okay,
Draft budget,
Proposed.
draft budget.
And now
Uh,
we're to your lovely wife.
Now, everybody, I'd like to introduce my wife, and she had, number one, she is the world's greatest recycler. She is a good one. But she also, we got the call to go down and, Mike wanted us to go out and volunteer and be at the recycling centers to try and explain people how it was going. I unfortunately didn't able to do it, but I went down with Mike, but to make a long story short, I would like for you to hear the response response of the people that came through and recycled with Beth. And it's my wife, Beth Campbell.
So first of all, I have to tell you all, because I volunteered at a clinic, and I was telling them I was coming here today, and they said, oh, so RN stands for Recycling Nazi, which is what he calls me all the time. So, but Mike, you all probably knew that he tried to get this group of volunteers together, and they did. And we were the only ones that volunteered for Shanklin, so that was where I went. It was actually kind of fun, but, you know, we're kind of overcommitted, so I don't want to say I'm gonna keep doing it, but, the people who came there, for years, I've been bugging Victoria saying, you have to have somebody there, because there are all those people on that other side, and they're just trashing the recycling. Everybody puts the wrong stuff in there.
They're contaminating everything.
Yeah, so I sat there, and when people would come up, I would say, oh, let me help you, you know, and it was amazing. The people who care enough to come and recycle, they had no idea. I mean, people were putting, you know, number 5 in there, and they were putting the clam shells and the paper, they were throwing in big things. It's supposed to be flat, I learned all that. But, they were receptive, and then I'd give them the brochure and say, oh, well, you know, this tells you more about it. And they were so interested in it. At least I had a very good experience. There was one guy that was bringing everything in a plastic bag, and he wasn't nasty, but he was kind of like, oh, I mean, the sign right on the thing says no plastic bag, but the people don't look at the sign, so. My thing is, that if you're gonna recycle, you have to have somebody there, because even the most well-meaning people are screwing it up.
Clamshells was the biggest thing.
And a lot of the problem is each contractor recycles differently.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
And people living in different parts are going, well, I do this, and somebody says, well, I live here and I do this. And everybody is getting a mixed message on what they can and can't recycle and what consists of
I mean, the
contamination.
brochure is really good, but getting people to.
We have
read the
gigantic
brochure.
signs now, they're gigantic. It
Yeah,
used to be the biggest sign was, you can't bring your gun. Now they've kind of switched it up, and the biggest signs now are that, but still, you know, I helped out at the Hilton Head one, and, you know, clearly the clamshells were the biggest issue, because they have a,
They have a 1 and a 2
it says a
on them.
1, and then
Yeah,
people
they
are like,
say
well, it
one
says
or
1,
the
and you're like,
I just said, well, at our
Well,
facility, it
that's
calls
when
the
you
machine.
just keep a pair of scissors on a rope, and so you just cut them in
it,
half.
it just says, it says bottles and jugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bottles and jugs.
But I think there's gonna have to be a period of education.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they just had somebody, you know, like for a month or some kind of pilot
Yeah.
program.
If
I
they
don't
could
know.
staff it, it would be great.
If that would be,
Ms. Jean, thank you
Okay,
for
Tom-
volunteering. Thank you all for all volunteering.
Yeah.
It's a huge help. We know that's been a deficiency at the centers. So in this year's budget, we have budgeted for what we're gonna call we're calling a site, leader. So this will be a full-time employee at the 4 big centers.
Yeah.
And their job will be to monitor the recycling as well as monitor the entire center. So they'll be able to move around from spot to spot. And then they'll be able to maybe shift one person over to recycling, and kind of give somebody a break from doing something else. So we will have a little bit more coverage on the recycling, because we feel your pain. Believe me.
well, and right now,
yes.
the people on the other side, they had no idea about where you can recycle and not. Cause I talked to them too, and they were like,
And that's where Valentina and her counterpart, we've actually hired another educator. So that's gonna help, that's gonna expand their team. Valentina's gonna kind of shift a little more towards stormwater, because we really need that education there as well. Nobody really sees the stormwater side of it. So, and then the new person coming in is gonna kind of take Valentina's place in the recycling world, but they're still gonna team up and do it together. So we ought to spread that education. Yes, ma'am?
She's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I hate to say it, I have friends that end up having to serve community service because they got caught speeding. Instead of a ticket, they're gonna do 40 hours.
Yep.
Why can't the county send someone
We've
else in?
actually offered that to, I think, we've actually, this guy runs through the detention center, right? Once, yeah, so once the sheriff's department, once they've made their arrest or whatever they've done, and that person gets their sentence, then it's handled through the detention and court center, the court detention center. So if they have what, we have to work through them. So we've given them some options to help and work at the centers. We've not fine-tuned that yet, but we have given those options, because you have to actually have somebody there to kind of monitor that person. Because they, you know, we used to have they would come out and pick up litter on Saturdays, but our team does not work on Saturdays, our litter team. So we don't budget for overtime for our team to go out and just watch one person pick up trash. But we have thought about the convenience centers, because they are open on Saturdays and Sundays, because of some of these offenders, have a job, so they aren't able to do it during the week. So, but our centers are open on Saturdays, so we have thought about that, and we're all working on a plan.
That's great, thank you.
Well, anything in that direction is, would help Mike, it helps Mike and the guys who are trying to recycle.
Well, I
Sure.
think it's just not punitive, but to say, oh, I know you care and it's so nice that you recycle, but let me, did you know, you know?
I wanted to say a little bit about what Ms. Pam said in regards to the lack of kind of continuity in what can be accepted in recycling and what cannot. And I've had so many residents that I can't even count be like, well, I get curbside, so I came to this meeting, this talk about recycling, and this doesn't really apply to me. I was like, well, technically, most of it does, but there's still more things that can be accepted in curbside that we don't accept. We have the most stringent per se, like list per se in the whole county. And Jessica actually called me the other day here from KBCB board. She told me she wasn't going to be able to make it, and I would say that I would bring it up. But the same thing about how I think she's working with the city of Beaufort on some stuff on her real job, and they were talking about how they wanted a more robust recycling education program, or kind of robust recycling just effort from the hauler to be put into the new contract. And she was like, besides that, I think it's bid season, I guess, is coming up that she's aware of with all municipalities, and maybe working on getting together with them on writing it into contracts, because like you said, contracts can be amended, having them kind of placing an emphasis on that and trying to kind of somehow do the catch-all to create a more unified list. That way it makes sense and people are able to kind of make it a little, take an obstacle out of it. And we had a roundtable with waste haulers that Sally and Victoria hosted, and I don't know if you wanted to say a little bit.
No, it was a good meeting. I think the difference is single stream and and what we have is source separated, right? So these curbsides are single stream. They're storing everything in there. And I'll bet that the percentage of stuff that actually gets recycled in that single stream is probably less than what we're doing. It's a lot more stringent, it's a lot harder. No, it's not really hard.
I agree.
Really, it's not harder.
Right.
It's just you gotta separate. I'll put all mine in a bin, and when I get there, I just put them in a different container, right? It's not hard. This is my thing, people are lazy, that's one thing. It's just laziness, and then just not having that, they don't know what the end product is, but if we can teach them what the end product is and why they're doing it, and that's where Valentina, if we can show them why they're doing this and teach them and educate them why they're doing it and why it's good, that's the end product. That's where Mike comes in and I too. He can show, now we can physically show where, now in the past, 2 years, we can show where our products are going. I mean, absolutely what we're recycling, we can show where it's going, which is a really good thing. But the hauler thing roundtable was good. We're also gonna look at doing a application on all of our containers that are pulled, so we know exactly, so when the attendant calls and says, hey, this container's full, they take a picture of it, it's on an app, and they basically take a picture and where it's at, what it is, and they hit send, it goes directly to the hauler, to their dispatcher, and it's literally happened like that. It's like a text message. It goes to the driver knows that container's full, and then when that driver gets done taking that container to wherever its end place is, they take a picture of it, it's unloaded, and then we see the return product of where it was placed, where it was dumped, what was in it, if it was contaminated, so we're getting a little more information as that way too, so that's gonna help us. That can take a little bit to implement, but it's there,
Yeah.
so.
And a lot of people are seeing trucks come pick up their garbage, and then later, that same truck is coming and picking up their recycling. And they mentally say, well, that's the same truck, so they're just dumping it all together, and they're not. So again, education.
I think education, that's a good thing that we can show, once we get this more data and more information back from these haulers, we can show the public, look, y'all, thank you, y'all did, you did well, you did good, you recycled well, and we've separated our stuff in this, cause here's the raw data that shows you what we've done, what we've accomplished.
Thank you very much for that talk.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's, wrap it up.
Okay, so BCSD meeting number E on the agenda, we already talked about that. County council procedures for new board members. I know that we have put several names forward, I've asked folks to volunteer, and the county's changed the way they do that. Do you wanna talk, Joe, just for a minute
Yeah,
on that?
the county has a procedure. What happens is you, as a board, can interview whoever you believe should be on this board. It then goes to the executive committee of county council. They then interview those candidates. They have to do a letter, a resume, they get interviewed, then they move on to the board as a whole to be approved. It is a much more intense process than it has been in the past. We just approved someone for the board, and I can't remember who. One person.
I don't remember the name.
Board.
I haven't been,
Yeah.
I haven't
But
been,
I think the
given that
assignments come out in
information.
February. The notifications are supposed to come out in February?
Yeah, they're gonna be on this upcoming agenda.
Okay, so we'll get, the new
Yeah,
board
I
member will,
think-
in April.
I was
Yeah.
approved.
Yeah, we-
you're reappointed.
We were all
This is for
reappointed.
new, these are for new board
I think
We're all
members.
that's
set.
what it was.
We're all set.
I got another
Person I identified and asked to submit application has not heard anything at all. So I'm gonna check with the board management
Yeah.
person on
Okay.
yours.
Yeah, cause we're trying to move them along.
Okay.
I'm also the liaison to the library board. They interviewed 4 people, sent them, back in December, knowing full well their fiscal year starts in March, and we're going to approve the 4 of them finally in, coming up next Monday. So it took a long time to do this, yeah.
So the process is a little longer.
We
Yeah.
need people
A little more
to serve
engaged.
on boards.
Yes.
We need more people.
Yeah.
We are 7 on our board and we have slots for 11. So we need 4 new board members.
Yeah, and one of them is
We
in my
have 7
district.
very good ones.
We have 7 great ones and we're getting great stuff done. And then public comments?
We may have
Any-
that on
Any
to-
public?
We've got that.
Any public
Any
comments?
public?
Did anybody like to say something?
Please.
Yeah, I'll throw in my 2 cents. First of all, I think you guys are making a huge difference, so thank you for that. As far as litter is concerned, I feel like you have very much an uphill battle. And I think it's one that you're not gonna win unless there's enforcement. There's not, I mean, nobody's turning these people in. If you pulled over somebody that's driving a trash truck, it's the employee that gets the ticket. Nobody's pulling them over, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody's pulling these people over.
I may stop yesterday.
Did you?
When
And
we see
if
it,
you
we
pull them
address it.
over again, it's the employee that gets the ticket, right?
Absolutely.
I feel like it needs to be the employee, or, I know a lot of y'all work for, the public or for the county or the state or what have you, so you might not be able to say much, but I think lobbying efforts towards the laws changing, the enforcement is what's gonna need to happen. It's kinda like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You're just not gonna make a dent in litter unless you make those changes. So waste management, they're not really incentivized to cover their trucks properly or add magnets to their tarps or whatever they need to do. And from somebody that goes out and picks up litter, it's, feel good about it, and I feel like a chump at the same time. And, if, as a private citizen, I need to be the one to step up to start lobbying efforts, I can. I feel like when you promote, when you talk about the new ordinance or whatever, the reporting of violations needs to be a huge part of that communication. Because most people have no idea that you can call litter control, 1-800-LITTER or whatever. And usually those people, the few times that people call, it's just sending a warning. It's not doing, there's no teeth to any of this. You can dump 500 pounds of litter and get a $500 fine. That's unacceptable. We as a state, I think we backed off of some of those rules because there are a lot of people that couldn't afford to pay the bill. We'll make them go out there and pick up trash.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll think about it the next time, but people just don't care, so you have to make them care.
So we've kind of taken the approach that Jesus and team have done so much on litter. Hilton Head at the Beaches is doing much on litter paid, right? They're paying contractors to do that.
Yeah, and I love that the county's.
And the county's working hard at it. We're kind of trying to reduce the stream. So by taking the styrofoam out of the stream of products, we think we can help there. I love the idea of advocating. I'm looking at you, Brenda, because of the legislative work you've done before. Is that something that we should think about, taking on the challenge of increasing enforcement?
We could start talking about it, but I know I asked one time and was told that we only have 2 enforcement officers in the county.
Mr. Rickaby?
Litter
Oh.
enforcement.
No.
We're not even,
We're not.
like, we're not.
They're not even officers.
They're just.
They're employees.
And we don't wanna be, I can get that. Public Works is not gonna, that's, if when it comes to enforcement or the law, that's the sheriff's office department, that's not ours. We're gonna go clean it up, we'll continue cleaning it up, we report everything, if it's illegal dumping, we take that, we get the information out of it, we kill it, if they tear through the trash, they get the mail, they get the address, they turn it over to, Sergeant Rickabine, and he does his investigation, makes the phone calls. The problem is, when it goes to court, they go, well, did you see him throw it out? Did you
Yeah,
see
and
him
I'm not
do it?"
saying you're not doing a good
Yeah,
job.
it is. That's where we're running.
But when it gets to the court, they're not doing
Now,
anything.
There's not,
And
I
the
mean,
state laws
there's some
are
illegal
pretty
dumpings, but they're not horrible in the county. I mean, they're here. I think where it goes back to the contractors, are not big haulers. So when these containers are on their construction sites, right, the things that are blowing out the back of these trucks, like Gene said, are the lunch bags, the styrofoam cups. Those are a lot of things that are coming out, so. And I'm not in the hauler defense by any means, they could do better, absolutely. But I think in the hauler defense a little bit, if they can somehow police their contractors and the people that are on the work sites from throwing, because it's only supposed to be C and D in these.
Well, the thing is
That's the
if
problem.
it's the employee that's getting the ticket, then it never falls back on the hauler. So they know they have zero incentive, and if you started putting it on the contractors, then, and every time there's a substantial step up in fine, they would start changing their habits.
I
Cause
think
this
there's
is
some ways to
habitual.
improve it. I don't disagree, I think there's some way to improve it. I think that's what
I
we
mean,
did.
it's a river of trash on 170.
The round table discussion we had with our hauler, the other day was not with our hauler, with all the haulers in the county, was a really good discussion. We've had those discussions with them, and we'll continue to have them, so hopefully we'll try to improve that. So,
Yeah.
but,
And I think it's an issue that, as a committee, we don't have enough, say-so, but I think that people like you, and even people from this, go to the council meetings, start screaming at council,
Yeah.
because they're the ones that can change the law.
Well,
They're the
it's a
ones that
state
can
law
change the
currently. I don't
budget.
know if the county can change that or
Well,
not.
but they
If you can implement your own, that would be
They
awesome.
can come up with budget to enforce, because you're right, if you have having the law is one thing, but it's nothing if you don't enforce it. And, I think the council is where we have to start being more vocal about that.
And just real quick, just a quick thought on working with the schools. Maybe if you came up with a program there, you had a template of this is what, grade A schools, from an environmental standpoint look like. These are the kind of contracts that they have. This is kind of recycling that you do. This is the kind of materials you order for your cafeteria. And have like a set program, so it's not loosey-goosey, like this is the goal, and then sort of award the ones that do it. You might have, some continuity in your messaging and a little bit more, higher enrollment
Mhm.
in this
We,
program.
we're just breaking ground in that department.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it's excellent.
Yep.
It's hard to key in on that.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're gonna do the best we can.
thank you.
Thank you for coming and thank you for speaking. These are open meetings, anytime you wanna come.
All right, thank you.
They're publicized.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And there's four
welcome.
slots open on the board.
As long as you live in the county.
Yeah.
You live in the county.
Adjournment.
Yep. Everybody good?
Everybody good? Thank you all for coming. It's been a great meeting. Always is.
The website,
It's always a pleasure to
Yeah.
work with Beaufort
what
County
was the two
staff.
websites you talked about?
And next meeting is still here, and then that's it. Then we're back in the county chamber.
That's